in public schools. Tragically, the crushing defeats that liberal parties suffered in the US and the UK at the hands of Thatcher and Reagan influenced them to walk away from their accomplishments under embedded liberalism and adopt neoliberalism instead. Rather than recommit to the ideas that made liberal parties the architects of the great 20th century prosperity, new Democrats such as Bill Clinton began to triangulate between what they perceived to be the positions of their centrist Democratic base and a radically right-wing Republican base, with the intention being the recapture of a wide swath of the voting population for Democrats. But this only resulted in a distinct shift of the Overton window to the right. Contrasting with the Republican brand, the Democratic brand of neoliberalism combined the same blind faith in the virtues of markets with reverence for technocracy, meritocracy, elite education, and professional expertise. This made them easy marks for an ideology obsessed with accumulating status and prestige, and induced them to abandon their historic working-class voter base in pursuit of a mythical professional class voter who was seeking a midpoint between Republican madness and muddled liberal corporatism. Democrats would provide the counterbalance on social issues like gay marriage and abortion, but would reliably fold when presented with opportunities to oppose deregulation, wealth concentration, and military adventurism. The same thing happened in the UK, where the new Labour Party under Tony Blair entrenched and extended the accomplishments of the Thatcherite Conservative Party. The cumulative result of this era was a sleepwalking descent into ubiquitous political and economic misdirection. The United States now had two major political parties that battled fiercely within the narrow space permitted by neoliberal market perspectives, whose traditional labels of liberal and conservative no longer had any meaning. The American public ironically became increasingly partisan in a time when both parties had seemingly developed two styles of the same political ideology, which isolated any who called for government intervention in the economy and especially the dismantling of dangerous concentrations of wealth and power. The fourth phase of neoliberalism extends from the 2008 global financial crisis until today. In 2008, the consequences of decades of neoliberal hegemony were made stark and apparent to the entire globe. Market forces had once again devastated the world economy through reckless corporate activity, just as in the Wall Street crash in the Great Depression. But this time, there was no transition to a new economic paradigm. This is mostly because of the failures of President Barack Obama and the enduring influence of neoliberalism in the Democratic Party. When President Obama took office in 2009, he had the strongest mandate to completely realign politics towards a new economic system that any president had enjoyed since Ronald Reagan. He could have begun the slow but necessary transition away from the neoliberalism that had characterized the previous 3 decades, but squandered that opportunity almost entirely. Of course, it would be remiss not to mention that Obama was standing in opposition to the Republicans, a group so virulently neoliberal and anti-intellectual that they can claim most of America's political deterioration for themselves.